He wasn't playing. He was checking something. Bianca Reyes had spent 6 years working triage in a busy urban ER, which meant she considered herself hard to rattle and harder to fool. Her son Callum, 20 months old, had just finished a snack of crackers at his cousin's birthday party. Sitting on the floor of a crowded living room, while Sonny, their 4-year-old golden retriever, lay a few feet away like he always did during family gatherings. Half asleep, mildly interested in dropped crumbs. Nothing more. Except this time, Sonny got up. He crossed the room and pressed his nose directly against Callum's hands, holding position there in a way that made the boy giggle and pull away. Bianca called him off gently. He came right back within 30 seconds, more insistent, nosing at the same 2 fingers, over and over. He just wants the cracker smell. Her sister-in-law laughed. Bianca laughed too, mostly. It made sense. Sonny had always been food-motivated, the kind of dog who could locate a dropped goldfish cracker across 3 rooms. She redirected him with a toy. He ignored it and went straight back to Callum's hands. By the 4th time, it stopped being funny. Sonny wasn't sniffing broadly the way a dog does when it smells food in general. He was targeting 2 fingers on Callum's right hand with a precision that felt almost clinical, nose pressed flat, barely breathing, holding for 3 or 4 seconds before pulling back and looking directly at Bianca. The same look, she realized later, that he gave her when he wanted her to follow him to something. She picked Callum up to move him away from the dog entirely. That was when she noticed it herself, a faint sheen on his fingers and around his mouth, the beginning of a slightly raised, blotchy patch she hadn't seen 30 seconds earlier. The cracker bowl at that party had been refilled twice, once with the original brand, once, unknowingly, with a store-brand substitute that used a different oil in processing. Callum had a documented but mild tree nut sensitivity that had never before produced a visible reaction. This was the first exposure, large enough to matter. Benadryl at home controlled it within the hour. The allergist Bianca saw the following week put it plainly. The reaction was still building. Trace allergen residue on skin produces detectable compounds well before a rash becomes visible to the eye. Dogs regularly outperform early clinical presentation in exactly this window. They're not smelling the food. They're smelling what the food is starting to do. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're exactly where you should be. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bianca thought about that party for days afterward. Sonny targeting 2 fingers specifically, not the whole hand. Not begging, checking. Sonny ignoring every redirection, every toy, every distraction that would normally work on him instantly. Not stubbornness, persistence toward something he'd already identified as wrong. She had 6 years of ER training telling her what an allergic reaction looked like once it was visible. Sonny had caught it while it was still invisible. Has your dog ever fixated on something small like this? Something you dismissed until it turned out to matter? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. That evening, back home, Sonny lay near Callum's high chair the way he always had, unbothered, back to his usual food-motivated self, occasionally lifting his head to check the boy's face the way he'd done 100 times before, without anyone thinking twice about it. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Next time, it's a dog who refused to let a toddler near the garden for 3 days straight, and no one understood why until the 4th.